Today's movie is based on true events and they happened way too soon to build one of our typical intro gags around it. So let's just get into it. Servus Freunde, my name's Jimmy Cage and Virus is an Indian Malayalam language medical thriller directed by Aashiq Abu that was just released 1 week ago. I knew beforehand that it is based on real events, but up until the closing credits I had no idea how recent those events were. Virus tells the story of the 2018 Nipah virus outbreak in Kerala that led to 17 deaths. The Nipah virus, which I didn't even hear about before the movie, has a huge risk of death with up to 75%, and there is no vaccine or specific treatment for it. The only thing you can do is to be supportive of the infected and of course try to stop the virus from spreading and also find how the first patient, patient 0 or index patient, got infected. And those different elements are the central focus of this film. But we don't follow one or two particular protagonists through the story, but several, and the film never stops jumping from one to the other. Virus features a huge ensemble cast, and to say that I could recollect all the character names or even their specific job titles would be a lie. I'm not that good with names anyway, but in a foreign language movie it's even harder, which didn't make this the easiest film to completely follow all the way through. But it's a movie that's well worth to spend time and energy into, because Virus is tense, emotional, well crafted, and the thing that stood out most to me, incredibly acted. And to make a film this fast after the actual events and with this quality is an achievement in of itself. The heroes of this story are the healthcare professionals who fought against the virus and for the lives of their patients. And the movie doesn't portray them as larger-than-life superheroes, but real human beings whose strength only shine brighter in their ability to work together and prevent a situation to get out of control. Probably the three most prominent roles are those of Kunchaka Boban as Dr. Surish Rajan, Parvati as Dr. Anu, and Tovino Thomas as District Collector Paul V. Abraham. All three characters are based on real people, though the names have been changed. And this goes for the rest of the cast as well, which is too big to fully name here. If you're into Malayalam cinema, you will recognize a lot of the faces here. Unfortunately, I'm not really familiar with the actual events, and of course the film has a disclaimer up front that some elements have been changed for dramatic purposes, but all in all I think Virus might be very close to what really happened. Apart from a very few filmmaking choices that I will talk about in a second, it is very grounded and realistic, as you might have come to appreciate in general from recent Malayalam cinema. Director Aashiq Abu gives his actors enough space to unfold, and the human drama is what Virus is doing best. It does an excellent job portraying the threat of such an outbreak and the consequences for the people and their families and friends. And what it means to work in these environments, what it means to decide that you want to help people and are willing to put yourself in danger while doing so. In a very strong, long opening credit sequence we witness how Dr. Abid Rahman, played by Srinath Basi, is working his shift at a casualty ward, what is called emergency room in the US or Notaufnahme in German. It is a long montage in which all kinds of different patients are coming in, and among them is also someone who has been infected with the Nipah virus, as we find out later. Srinath Basi's performance was one of the film's highlights for me. With this many people we only ever learn a little bit about each one of them, a little bit more about some than others, and I thought his character had a little bit more depth to him than the average, and I appreciated that there was a deeper backstory that is woven into with his role in the outbreak. The film mostly succeeds in intertwining the human drama with the thriller aspect of trying to find out who patient 0 is and how many people he was in contact with. It is such an important work to collect all the data and use that data to prevent further infections. And the film does a good job showing the importance of teamwork and also of not spreading panic. There's this political element woven into it that the cause might be a terror attack, and I liked how the scientists were portrayed in not losing their heads over it and stay calm and collected. Which doesn't mean that they don't show emotions. Virus is indeed a very emotional film, and the conflict between doing the most rational, logical thing and also make concessions to the sentiments of the relatives is an integral part as well. A key role in preventing further deaths is to burn the bodies of the deceased, but this is of course a very hard thing to accept for the family members. Not just because of religious reasons, but simply because they can't see their loved ones one more time. Also, this concept of a lethal danger that is not visible is addressed very well. Of course it is a very different thing, but it reminded me of the recent miniseries Chernobyl, which danger is also invisible to the eye, at least at first. And the way Virus explores the uncertainty and the fear was very strong. Now there are a few things that I think are a bit too heavy-handed or too showy, and because the acting and overall storytelling are strong enough, they didn't need to be. In the first third, once they realize that it is the Nipah virus, there's this very short little montage that shows virus and fear in big letters on the screen, and for a second I thought we would get another opening credits scene. I guess it should visualize the thoughts and fears of one of the characters, but it felt very exploitative. Towards the very end, when we find out what the cause for the outbreak was, there's also this scene in which a photo is analyzed. Up until that point, every technical aspect portrayed in the film was handled in a normal fashion, which I like because in many Hollywood movies, computers and screens and programs are often portrayed in this super exaggerated sci-fi way. At that point in the film, it was already well established what the cause very likely must have been, and yet they tried to create this little suspense scene around it. Not only is the photo very obvious, but the way it is revealed was also a bit too much. Another general aspect is the music, which I'm a bit torn about. I think the score by Sushin Shyam is good, but there were moments where I thought less might have been more. But it's not a big criticism. I think Virus starts really strong and also ends very strong, minus the photo reveal. The whole middle section felt a bit too muddled and stretched out to me. It might be that the language barrier contributed to it, but I had a hard time to follow everything, and there were also a lot of little flashbacks that I didn't recognize as flashbacks right away. The movie is 2.5 hours long and it didn't always flow that smoothly. Maybe it would have been a good idea to combine a few characters into one. I don't think it would have taken away anything from the teamwork aspect and different sides to the story. But where the movie really came back to me in a strong way was in the late introduction of a new character. Now, he's already in the trailer, so it's not really a spoiler, but I didn't see the trailer beforehand, and the whole time I thought to myself how awesome it would have been if Zubin Shahir was in it as well. And well, he is. I only discovered Shahir recently, but whenever he's in a movie, he adds something to it. He only has a small role in Virus, but it's a very significant role, and not only is he giving a great performance, especially in the scene with Parvati, but the movie also uses his character to conclude both of its strong points, the human drama and the investigative search for the cause. So in German I'd say, Virus glänzt durch sein hervorragendes Ensemble. Dem Film gelingt eine gute Mischung aus Drama und Thriller, und auch wenn er hier und da etwas ins Reißerische abdriftet, ist er insgesamt doch sehr realistisch und menschlich. Im Mittelteil ist er etwas zerfleddert, aber das starke Ende macht das locker wett. I give Virus 7 out of 10. It's more like 6.8, but I don't do that. Alright, that's it like always. Comment below and let me know what you think about Virus, and also let me know what is your favorite performance of Zubin Shahir. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram simply at @TheJimmyCage. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like, and make sure you hit that bell for all I have to tell.